kids, okay? Or kids or whatever, these kids. And the bottom line is, I could come with a whole message or what have you. And I just kind of want to talk to some people where they might be right here and right now. Um, Coming with a message, there's plenty of them that you can like go to. I feel like it's so many messages, and that's great and that's wonderful. We need the encouragement. We never cease from hearing his word. But when people are having real situations, and there's a lot of single mothers out here, and I know, I get it. And I think this is more prevalent in a single mother's household than it is in a two-parent household, where you have children that are either, how can I put it, not old enough to move out, and they really too old to be where they can't do anything. They're too old to not know how to do anything, not old enough to move out on their own. And their attitudes are as if they taking care of everything with no help from you, but they need everything from you and then some. Blessings to you all. God bless each and every last one of y'all, and shalom and peace. Let me just share something with you. I have met so many single women that have come up to me saying that they got this or they want to do that or they have these plans or whatever, but this is one thing that's stopping them, and it's those kids or their children. Now, this is the thing. We'll call kids our kids even if they are beyond 18 and 19 years old. Of course, they're still our kids, but let's call it what it is. If you got somebody over 18 years old, they are young adults. Yes, they are your children, but they're not kids anymore. And I believe that's the mistake that we're making, because we're still trying to do for people, calling them kids and looking at them in our mind in the same framework as if they are children. I mean, like kids. No, they are children. But most of these that we're talking about right now are young adults. If they are 18 and beyond, they are young adults. And the problem is that they still act like children. They have the mentality of children, but yet they talk like they grown. So you got a whole bunch of single parents or parents having their young adult children living in the household with the mind of a child, but a mouth as if they grown and if they're paying some bills and as if they're the parent and you're the children. Well, I just want to help some people out on some things, because I'm going to tell y'all right now, I ain't got it all together. And I don't know what parent wants to throw their children outside in the street, yet a lot of them deserve to be someplace else other than being a tyrant inside of your home. And so I don't have all of these answers, because believe y'all me, there's some days that my peace has been robbed. And really, it wasn't robbed, although the enemy does come to steal, kill, and destroy. A lot of the peace, we're giving it to them when we allow our focus to be on the child that think that they running something when they not. Hold up. I know that a lot of people want to blame the parents. Well, you used to do this and you had a background, and that's why your kids are the way they are. And then we want to blame the schools. Well, because they went to school and they learned XYZ. Look, let's just go ahead and look at the truth of the matter. We're human beings. We're going to make mistakes. They're human beings. They're going to make mistakes also. But to me, the biggest clash is that the enemy been setting up a system long time ago before we ever got here. So when the enemy was taking prayer out of schools, discipline out of schools, and then removing discipline and prayer really right out of our homes, coming up with all these bogus institutions saying that they are better at parenting our children than what we are. The systems, Satan was setting up systems for our kids long time ago, making it where they had to go to certain things. They had to do, even in the church, it's been the same way. They got to go to children's church. And there was always a separation from child and parent. It's been this way. Then it got to the place that now there's another separation where children don't have to be accountable for anything. Matter of fact, they can love themselves so much and be on other things that they have no priorities whatsoever. They make it hard for a parent. You're doing your best to do everything that you can for them, and you always have. I know many parents, including myself, that went without to make sure that our children had. I'm not talking to bogus parents that made sure their lives was taken care of while their kids look terrible. I'm not talking about the parent that fed their children hot dogs and or beanie weenies while you fed some man steak that wasn't their father or your husband. We ain't talking about none of that. We're not talking about parents that have left their children in the care of somebody that didn't have no moral compass. Not talking about that. However, if you fall into any one of those categories and beyond, you in Christ now, there's no condemnation unto you. Forgive yourself and move on. But we're talking about parents, and maybe your life wasn't squeaky clean, because mine wasn't. But now you've given your life to the Most High, and you got children that want to remind you of everything and then some as if they can. Number one, they don't get to rehearse your past, because if we ain't supposed to rehearse it and we supposed to silence Satan when he do it, is a child any different? We have to shut that kind of conversation down. But I wanted to help some people with this. Children have gotten out of control. I watched the mother cry today, and she kept saying, my child, my kids, my kids. And finally, I asked, by the unction and of the Holy Spirit, how old is this child you talking about? Unbeknownst to me, and it was kind of a knockout, she said 30 years old. So we are crying about some 19-year-olds, some 18, some 17, 16, 15-year-olds that are out of control, when we got people who are letting an adult run their household. And see, this is where it gets sticky. When the parent don't want to put the person out because that child or that grown woman or that young adult comes with a child. And so they know that most likely the best that the grandbaby is going to get is staying in the house, even if that means you are dealing with turmoil, keeping the mother in the household close by because you know she ain't got good sense. I feel your pain. I've met a couple of ladies that have 30-year-old women or men living in their household as children. They can't take care of themselves. They got a piece of a job or no job, or if they got a job, they spend money on themselves and they don't do their part. They don't clean. They don't cook. They add no type of incentive to the household or your life. They're living in the house pretty much rent free. They don't do anything. And it's a burden to walk in your house every day and see them there. And it didn't help that the laws are now making it where these children or young adults can squat in your home and you not even be able to put them out. The sad thing about it is that I even saw a parent that they moved and left the kid in the house until the bank come and get the home. They left the child or the young adult. I see other people that are afforded much more amenities, or they have a little extra cash, that they're buying campers and putting the camper in the driveway so that the young adult can stay in the camper. This is sad that this nation has built up, I don't know, a safety net for young adults that don't want to grow up. Y'all remember back in the day when they had the big old toy store, the Toys R Us, and they had that little theme song? And the theme song was, hold on, many of us could sing it. I don't want to grow up. Because what? They are Toys R Us kid. Well, sorry, y'all. We got many that don't want to grow up. They want to live off of mama and they want to live off of daddy. And some of them off of grandma and grandpa. The only thing I have for you, and I've been thinking about this all while I was riding home, I made a decision that I'm not getting ready to let my peace be robbed another day. Now, I want to show you what I'm doing. People say tough love. Well, I learned that if you put them out, they ain't gonna do nothing but scratch your door down or break some windows to get back in. Because one thing that these kids know, they know what side of the bread or what side the bread that is buttered on, right? They understand that they don't have really any place else to go. You would think that they would close their mouths, but something about this world or Satan has made children believe that they are entitled something. And some of this is our fault because we gave them everything and they didn't have to do nothing. And our excuse was, well, I didn't have them things growing up, or he didn't have a father, so I feel like I gotta overcompensate. No, we some of the problem because what we wasn't supposed to do was to feed a beast. If I go get something out there that's not tamed, it's not domesticated, it's wild and it's foolish. And I put it in my yard and I feed it, slide it, everything that it wants. Pretty soon I'm gonna go back there and I'm gonna have something on my hands that I'm not gonna be able to contain. Because what's gonna happen that that very thing I was feeding is gonna turn on me. Because there's no parameters. And we didn't set any standards. When a kid act out and then the next day we go take them and buy them new gym shoes. When they tell you they're not gonna eat something that you cooked, then you turn around and go buy them McDonald's or whatever it is that they want to eat. We throwing hotel parties for our kids and taking them and letting them go to the prom half naked. We buy their clothes and they out here looking like harlots. Some of this is our problem. Yeah, it is. I've even heard of parents letting their child or their kids, a boyfriend or girlfriend, spend the night. And then we're shocked when a baby comes into the household. See, we have some part in this. We all have some part to play or a role in it. We gave our kids way too much. We bought them cars and their grades were failing. If they made good grades, then we ain't talking to you. I'm not sure if that's all you need this day and age because good grades, that wasn't enough. Should their attitude should have lined up with it. That's why I tell y'all that the commandments are so necessary because we would have been instilling in our kids, honor thy mother and thy father. Don't steal. Don't fornicate. Don't lie. See, these things were in place. So I'm not getting ready to get started on that because they removed all of that. And y'all remember when we went to school and act the fool, you had a principal that was ready to put a little wood to your behind, right? Your teacher could do it. You know, now let me put a little clause in there. We had some folks that just liked beating on some kids. I remember Miss Sims. I remember you from Carver School. You wasn't right. Let's move on. Miss E. Jones, it was quite a few of y'all that just like to beat on children. And we ain't talking about those with sick minds because the Father dealt with each and every last one of them. The bottom line is the Father will always deal with those things that are out of order, just like He dealing with us. Because we were out of order and we let our kids run our households, we gave to them when they didn't do anything to deserve it. They didn't even try. When we knew they was lying, we kept our mouths closed. We went up there to fight. Many teachers removed them out of schools when people were just trying to give them some discipline. When they was trying to teach them something, was she too hard on him? You remember if a family member said something, it was an issue and a problem. You ain't going back over there only for you to try to raise them or leaving them in the house by themselves. Now they sneaking somebody through the back door or the windows or what have you. Well, you might be like, well, that ain't none of my problem. It might not be. But there are several that are hearing what I'm saying right now. You can't say that you ain't had no problems because it's the spirit of this world. It is teaching these kids to love themselves more than they should, to take care of them, to look at I'm sorry, to look at the media and social media as if that's their God. All day long, all you see is tongue hanging out their mouth. I'm not even going to do that because there's some grown folks with your tongue hanging out of your mouth when the Bible has already told us that we don't identify with nothing like that. Nothing of the serpents, nothing. We're supposed to be wise as they are, but we ain't supposed to act like them. You got your tongue hanging out your mouth, and you should never mind. I'm gonna leave that alone. Our children need some serious help. I believe that Satan has done everything he could to cloud their judgment, have them make poor decisions. You got young ladies and young men with about 3 sleeping partners each. And we wonder why their minds are messed up. They didn't hooked up with everything and anybody, no discrepancy, no discernment, no discernment. Somebody could come up with their pants hanging down, braids, dyed pink on the ends, jeans with flowers on them and glitter. And we're fine with this. Some of us have even let our sons look that way. And some of our daughters, we ain't gonna talk. They naked. And I'm gonna tell you now, I tell my daughters every day that you look like this, you push your husband away. Because nothing wants you naked out here but something nasty. And I'm saying that to grown women too. I don't care what you think. You got a nice body. It's a whole bunch of y'all. That's why you think why they running over to the other side of things. Because they tired of looking at your behind. Flesh is everywhere and it's not appealing anymore. Yeah, they'll look at it. And yeah, of course they want to hit. They're not trying to wife you. And I'll put that there. Our children are the problem right now. And what I mean by that is that they have a problem of getting their emotions in order. They don't have no control because I really believe the enemy has taken over the mind through so many forces, music, school, friends. They are battling a lot. And this is the thing, parents are hurting. How are you? How you doing? Yes, I'm seeing children tearing up homes, putting holes in the walls, cussing parents out, taking the keys, going through people's purses, stealing, lying, all types of stuff. But I got some stuff for you. All in this, the only thing I could say is, Father, what we supposed to do when these kids are out of order, young adults that can't move on. They got help wanted signs everywhere, and we still got an influx of kids living in our households. You know why? We made it too plush and too comfortable and too luxurious for them. Thank you, Miss Henrietta. How are you doing? We made it too comfortable for them. Would you leave a hotel? If the hotel told you to clean up the room, you'll be like, I ain't cleaning up nothing. But I bet you if you knew you could stay there for free, you ain't gonna move. You ain't gonna move. Thank you and shalom. Favor and grace to you, sister. So I have to say this. We're making it too comfortable for them. And I'm learning that you cannot be their guy because at some point we made it okay. We okay. Look at your life. Your parents didn't give you everything. We didn't have it all. I worked a couple of jobs and went to school, worked midnights, did what I needed to do. My parents did not do it all. Matter of fact, my father told us that he was going to stop giving us our 2 rolls of quarters when we turned 16. I'm like, that's all you was giving us was 2 rolls of quarters and you going to stop that? My father was done. That was $20. And that was supposed to be you either choose to ride the bus or you choose to eat. And many times I didn't want to walk 12 blocks. So I chose to ride the bus and ate when I got home. Could he have afforded more? Yes. But I believe what my father was doing was teaching us how to make it in a world that's not going to give you everything. But we as parents in this new millennium, we're teaching our kids that they can have it all, even if they're disrespectful, hurtful, trifling. I mean, just rude, lazy, and we still turn around and get them anything they ask. And sometimes they ain't even got to ask. You go shopping and be like, oh, this will be nice for Tony. Wouldn't do it. Sure wouldn't. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is nice for Keisha. And we go and get them all this stuff. And trust me, who was that? Miss Final or Mister I can't see your picture. This is the thing that tripped me out. They ain't even got it. They don't even need the stuff. They got more stuff than we got room for. They got boxes of stuff, closets filled, their room is filled with stuff. And that's what they say, ain't it? But I'm gonna deal with all of that in a few minutes. Since they made the laws that we can't put our hands on them, but the law can beat our kids down in the street. They tell us that we can't put them out. But they can be put out of a whole bunch of places in the world. You tell us that they must go to school, but you don't do anything if we call you to make sure they go to school. Then you want to hold a parent accountable when you make the system so weak and so lazy that the kid can lay around and decide they're not going to go to school. Then here you come, you want to show up at my door and ask me why my kid had missed a few days. Well, excuse me, the system, but I had to work. So I don't know what this little child or this grown woman or grown man or half grown person been doing while I'm at work. I can't be at two places at one time, but you got officers running up and down and driving up and down the street looking for something to get into. Go knock on some doors and send a truancy officer out of the office and stop making all this money writing up paper. Go knock on the door like I used to and be like, Keisha Cummins, where you at? You need to be in school. Get the list and go down it and go pick up them kids to take them to school since that's where you want them. I'm just going to put it like that. Don't ask me why they not in school and I'm working at 8 to 5. I think we need to hold some people accountable and keep putting mess on top of parents to do everything. And you got folks receiving six-figure incomes, sitting up in offices, pushing paper. You don't know nothing about me. And since you want to know where they at, Judge, go get them. They at the house. Matter of fact, I done called a few times and said, I think they at the house. I'm going to need you to do a non-emergency run. And then you got officers that want to wear the hat of psychology and you want to counsel a demon. Well, tell me what's wrong. Well, see, my mama, see what she had did was, that's right, where they at? Because they still getting paychecks. And where the old superintendent at with your six-figure income self? You all up in the schools and we don't know what you do. I guess you the gatekeeper of the school because I ain't figured out what the superintendents do yet. Somebody please tell me what they do if they got principals and vice principals and deans and truancy officers. Please tell me what the superintendent do. They got them big old six-figure incomes and y'all behinds driving around and all you do is make one announcement or put out a memo once a year. I'm still trying to figure out what they paying you for when you got schools that ain't got no books and kids that cannot read. Y'all mad at a whole lot of things. And one thing I decided is that I can't let this stuff take my peace no more. See, when you got kids that are up under age, I'll say 16 and below, then I'm going to be praying for you because you got a ways with them little rascals. I get it. But when you got 18 and beyond, it's time to make some changes. Okay. We can't keep making it plush for them. It can't be that they got their little room fixed up like it's their little apartment. See, they ain't going nowhere no time soon because why would I? I could come up in here and eat up the stuff that you bring and use up all the toilet paper that you buy. And then I'm going to go up in here and get, if I need something, then I'm going to act a fool if I don't get it. And I'm going to work my little job and keep my little money to buy me a couple of wigs and get my nails done or some new gym shoes and, some kind of CD or T-shirt. They don't do CDs no more, but you get where I'm going. They ain't got to do nothing. And then you ask them rascals, I almost said something really bad. Father, forgive me. You ask them rascals to clean up something. I didn't have that. I only use 5 dishes and I'm just going to wash 5. Well, I tell you what, this is my new mantra. Yeah. What? You remember I told you that? Really? My child ain't, and you the youngest to ride home. Heartless. And pick he street take you might up and what is when I'm out, that would be they hear me. And they don't want it now. So they yeah I am me and will okay, no, do I am people I can't